Oh no! I hit the wrong scene. I oh man, I was thinking about this the whole time. I was like, yep, that's the button that I hit, Max. Just you make
Happens.
sure to hit
You get
that
one a
one.
month. You get one a month, and the month's
One a
almost
month.
over, so you're
That's
good.
pretty
Yeah.
that's pretty generous. That's 12 mess ups in a whole year. Like that seems pretty generous for me. So
Yeah.
I'll accept your terms, sir. The problem is like the button that I hit is the bright, shiny, big first button. I'm like, that one means go. And then I hit that, and then it's not what I was supposed to do. But now we're here. Welcome to Tome Knowledge, where we feed you D&D information right into your ear holes from the internet.
Yep.
And we only charge you a small nominal fee of $3.99. So
$3.99. What
yeah.
a deal.
$3.99. Hi,
Can't
everybody.
beat
I'm
it.
here with Boobs Like Jagger from the GGN crew and Virtual Spectre, and we're going to talk to you today about Dungeons and Dragons, the 2024 edition, also known as 1D&D, also known as 5.5 edition, from what I've heard people. So it's also known as the new rules coming out.
New rules means give us more money.
I mean, yeah, that is true. But I will say there are some changes that I do like in the new rules.
I feel the changes are so significant that it's basically, I would say it's a step up from 5.5, maybe like 5.75.
I mean, if you want to get to like versioning, like 5.63, you know, if we want to go that wild with it, we can.
I was just saying it makes sense why you need new books, because there's just so many crazy changes.
Yeah, for sure. And we talked about a lot of those changes when they were doing like the 1D&D Unearthed Arcana stuff. And those had several iterations of many of the classes. Some of them only got one iteration, some of them got like 2 or 3. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's in store, because they're releasing videos like they were doing daily. I think they've already done 3 or 4 at least already. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look. So a lot of good stuff. We thought we'd jump into Paladin today, but before we jump into Paladin, yeah, I'm a fan of the Paladin. I will say I am a fan of the Paladin.
It's Village's favorite.
It is.
She's not here to defend herself. So, but before we get to Paladin, if you aren't looking at us on YouTube, you should. YouTube.com/@casters and cantrips. Go check us out on YouTube. Go to our Discord and tell us how much you love Paladins. It's discord.gg/casters and cantrips. Or just go to our Patreon, Casters and Cantrips, and get early access to all of our podcast information right for you, personally curated for your listening experience.
That's right.
And I don't know if you all know this, but what you see live and what you hear live is slightly different than what you hear in the early access, the podcast and the VOD stuff. Not sure if you knew that, but all of the VODs and the podcasts get some special like audio editing, so it sounds even better than it does live.
Whoa.
We cut out all the breaks and all the lead up time. You didn't know that, did you? We put a lot of work into making that just super nice for all our podcast listeners. So
that sounds actually good when people are getting those gains at the gym, you know?
Yeah. That's where we speculate. Everyone who listens to us just is doing it at the gym. It's the only place podcasts can happen. But recently, thank you for getting us to over 4,500 plays on our podcasts.
Some could say we're kind of a big deal now. 4,500.
Some could say that.
It's a thing that could be said.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But anyway, y'all want to talk about Paladins?
Heck yeah, I want to talk about Paladins.
Yes, Max. What's the big deal?
Our resident Paladin expert,
with Paladins?
Boobs Like Jagger, is here to talk about them.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
because we're such professional streamers, I set up this whole scene with, look, we can scroll right through the blog with all of you and talk about it on the screen. Ooh.
Sorry,
Wowie.
podcasters.
Podcasters just want to listen to it anyway because we're going to talk all about it. This is really to help me and read through, but then if you're watching, you can see it. So anyway, the whole video and thing on the whole Paladin changes, but we took the easily digestible version.
Yeah.
There's a super easily digestible version with just bullet points right here. If you want the quick and dirty of like, here's what's new, go check that out. But we are inclined to scroll down a little more, and I will say I do like that art.
Yeah,
of that Paladin.
Orc Paladin.
Yeah. Yep. It looks very nice with a little. Is that Holy Avenger? Is that sword? Is that the depiction? Or is it
campaign 1 and gave it to VS instead to his?
No. Listen.
Yeah.
Listen. That was planned long before you started begging for a magic item, sir.
Damn it.
And it wasn't Holy Avenger. It was changed.
Avenger.
It wasn't the exact same.
Was it Spirit of Gin or something?
Spoilies. Like spoilers for a campaign that's been done for a year now, I think.
Yeah.
For campaign 1.
Yeah.
There's very little context to
that. I think it is worth watching the video. Jeremy Crawford does an awesome job breaking down like all the abilities and stuff and comparing things from the 2014 version of the Paladin and to the changes that they made to the 2024 Paladin. I thought the video format was kind of weird because it was just Jeremy Crawford like basically lore dumping with all the information, and then the other guy's just like, oh yeah, I remember that.
You guy.
Yeah, he was like, that's all he was like an ad lib guy. I think it would have been better if it was just like Jeremy talking to the camera. They have like cool music in the background.
Yeah, and in I will say, in like they did like a general player's handbook video. The first one was with Chris Perkins as well, so there was some banter between the three. But I feel like that he's not really being interviewed; he's just giving scripted information. But anyway, aside from the beautiful artwork with the orc Paladin, she's got like some heavy armor, a nice glowy sword. Love that for her. Let's talk about the changes. Level 1, lay on hands. Used to be an action. Now it's a bonus action.
Hell yes.
And I will say too, I've watched several of these videos that's kind of in line with some other things, that healing potions are now bonus actions right out the gate. So it seems that things are changing with some of the healing.
Maybe someone at Wizards watching some casters of Cantrips. I don't know.
If you are, thank you. I worked really hard. We all did on this.
We're not the only ones who came up with the idea, but
yeah, definitely not. Definitely.
But it is definitely glad that it's going to be official now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It always felt, I guess I didn't feel poopy, but like wasting a turn to heal. I don't know. Just now it's the bonus action is awesome. I love it.
We're gonna get to this a little later, but now you can't lay on hands and smite in the same turn. But we'll get to that. And it also, interestingly enough, and I'm wondering why. So it went from action to bonus action, but now lay on hands, it still cures the poison to condition, which is good. It can now be used on constructs and undead, but now it no longer removes diseases.
I think, didn't we cover this before? They got rid of diseases, right? In the new version, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. I mean, I will say that there's not a whole lot in the way of diseases in the DMG anyway. There's some examples, but I mean, they're kind of this nebulous, like it's obviously not a condition. There's a couple examples. There's a couple of spells and features that specifically call out diseases, but not a whole lot. But yes, our viewers are right. Since it was an action anyway, you couldn't smite and lay on hands at
Oh.
the same turn previously, unless you had something that gave you an extra action like haste or an action surge from a fighter dip or something. But yeah, I don't know. I'm if they're not going to flesh out more the whole disease category, I'm fine with all that shit going away. To be honest,
That's fine with me. Because I think they also they got rid of divine health
did
unless
they?
they changed it.
Yeah, we'll have to look through that. I'm okay with it being used on constructs and undead, I guess. Like I feel like some of that stuff is just like an antiquated holdover rule that had to have special rules for like Warforged and like the Mechanome
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
and like some of the what is that? What are those called from the Ravenloft specific book that had like the Risen or something like that. I forgot what those character options are called. Where you could be
Oh
like
yes.
a not a hag or not a Frankenstein or not a
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. Revenant, yeah. Let me
But
see what
like,
it
so
is.
can you lay on hands undead in a harmful way since it's unless they're changing the whole
That's what I
positive
was
negative
thinking.
energy thing?
Well, that negative positive energy hasn't been in D&D since like 3.5 or 3, one of the two, right? I don't know if 4 did or not. I don't want to go much on a limb there, but 5th edition
I think
there's
4
not any
might have.
positive
There's
negative.
4th had repair instead of heal because you couldn't heal constructs like Warforged, so they had
Yeah.
repair, which only I think it was an arcane spell.
Mm-hmm. Let me find this book. What is it called? It's gonna drive me crazy. The Von Richten's Guide, the lineages. Those character options where you were a Dampier or a Hexblood or a Reborn, that kind of stuff. Those were specific. So, like, I think Reborn, you were. Well, it says you were a humanoid, so I don't know what they were. Anyway, now it works on constructs and undead. Cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, cool. works for me. Spellcasting level 1, so they get it at level 1 as opposed to what was it, 2 previously.
Yeah, level 2 previously.
And then I think almost every caster is a prepared caster now in whatever the hell we're gonna call this. I don't know, 2024 D&D. I'll have to go back
I
and
think
look.
that's what they're going for. The 2024.
Yeah, which that's fine, I guess. I'll have to look at
Yeah,
the
spells at
actual
level 1.
paladin.
I think that also helps out with multi-classing too. People on a dip, they get spells right off the bat.
Yeah, that's true. But nah, yeah. Yeah, I don't remember. I'll have to see when the book comes out because I went back and forth on the whole prepared, not prepared, and what prepared actually means. For
It's just
spellcasting.
3 categories of magic now, right? So there's like
Well,
primal,
that's gone
arcane, and
now. It's back
oh, it's
to
gone
it's
now.
back to the class list of magic.
Oh, weird.
So, um, which I liked previously, but that's okay. Big thing though, weapon mastery, level 1 for them, which I'm a big fan of weapon mastery. Give weapons more meaning than just here's how many dice you
Yes.
roll, because
Yes.
bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing hardly ever matters. Hardly ever at all. Unless it's all of them at once.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. And we'll probably cover some more weapon mastery stuff in the future. But it gives an example of one for the long sword, the sap trait. And I think you
Yeah.
can do this every attack, right? Or every turn. Anyway, go ahead.
Character wielding a long sword while their selected weapon mastery armament will be used with the sap trait. When you successfully hit a creature with an attack using a weapon with the sap trait, the next attack made before the start of your next turn has disadvantage.
Sick. Love it.
Man,
I don't recall. Was there restrictions to how many times you could do it?
I don't know. I think it's like it's at least once a turn,
Yeah.
at least. Which I'm with you on this, Zeus. What an odd name for a trait. Sap for a sword.
Yeah. I guess you hit him with the hilt on
Yeah,
the old noggin.
a pommel strike. I don't know.
Yeah.
You little bunk. Yeah. So I mean, I'm all for weapon mastery in making marshals have more things to do than I swing, even though paladin has tons to do. But anyway, make weapons more meaningful.
Yeah, absolutely.
When y'all want to take the level 2 stuff?
Sure. Fighting style. Level 2. Fighting styles have been adjusted now to be a special subtype of feat that any class can choose from if they have fighting style class feature. Paladins can pick one of these feats, or alternatively, they can choose the Blessed Warrior option, which grants them 2 cleric cantrips.
Pasha's stuff, yeah.
And Smite.
I want
Level
to talk
2.
about the fighting style real quick before we move on. Like,
Sure.
I see what they're doing because fighting styles were like a list of things that some classes had. It feels kind of weird that they're a special subtype of feat, but they happen at level 2. It feels like that they didn't put them in a box before, but now they're putting them in a box that people understand, but it still doesn't quite fit as a feat. It seems weird.
Yeah, it does feel weird calling it a feat, because I don't know if they're doing with the ASI feat thing still.
As far as I know.
But they did unrestrict it where you could pick any fighting style you want. Where paladins previously had like a select, they had a set styles they can choose from and can't
Yeah,
separate from.
I sure do like that a lot better.
You could flavor your paladin any way now.
Mhm.
Anyway, sorry to stop you, VS. I had some words on that one.
It's all good. Paladin Smite, level 2. Previously a dedicated feature in the 2014 Paladin and formerly known as Divine Smite. Level 2 Paladin Smite feature on the 2024 Paladin works a bit differently. Instead of granting you a Smite feature directly, it gives you the Divine Smite spell as a permanently prepared spell. New spell works much like 2014 class feature with a couple of key differences. First, it can now be used on unarmed strikes. Cool.
Fantastic, which I would have let regardless because that was a dumb
Man.
reason that it wasn't allowed.
Holy punches and kicks. Let's go.
Yeah,
Where was I? Which is a relief for paladins who want to sock monsters with a divine punch to the face. Yes.
as you would. I think it can also work with a thrown weapon now too, if I'm not mistaken, from the UA. But we'll see about that in the final print.
Second, it now requires a bonus action to use, but that bonus action can be taken immediately after you hit a creature with an attack roll, bringing it mostly in line with the original Divine Smite's mechanic.
I like those changes. I like that it's just not, oh, I do this, and it just happens. You actually have to
Yeah.
use action economy for it. I like that it's a spell, so it can be counter spell now. It's not a I do this and there's nothing you can do about it because I hit you.
Counter spelling a smite, that's pretty wild.
Love it. Love it. I mean, because really, and without going too much into like the fishing for crits and then only critting on your smite type thing, like I like this better because I don't know. I like it.
Yes, this making it a bonus action also means they can only do it once per turn.
Yes.
So they can't
Yes.
spell dump. Like I have 3 attacks, I'm gonna smite 3 times. You can't do that anymore. So now
Good.
really reeled it in because yeah, that was super ridiculous of paladins.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that because I mean, if there, I mean, look, I don't want to get into like the spellcasters are way more powerful than marshals and stuff like that and all that curve, but like if you really wanted to nova something down, just get a paladin with his extra attack and just attack smite, like, and pretty much the threshold is all you gotta do is hit him, which as a martial character is your thing anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good changes. All good changes so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Love it. Smite is not your entire identity as a paladin now.
But who am I
Yeah.
without smite?
Yeah. Imagine taking the let me get back to the word. Yeah, imagine taking Blessed Warrior and not smiting.
Mhm.
That's some cool art of a tiefling paladin who looks like some sort of divine warrior because, well, I don't see a weapon.
Yeah, they probably took the Blessed Warrior option.
Yeah,
Great hair, cool little bird on the armor.
I am liking the art that I'm seeing so far from the new books and new classes and stuff. I'm
I do
liking
like
it.
that they credit the artist on the top right too. It's very nice. Nice touch.
Yes. Yes. Level 3. Take it away, Paladin expert.
Well, that's you. You're a paladin expert as well. But
No, I
yeah,
just played one on TV once.
for TV. Paladin subclasses. So they go over 4 different subclasses for the paladin.
Mhm.
Oath of Devotion, I believe Oath of Glory came from another book, Pasha's, I believe,
Probably.
and then Ancients and Vengeance, of course. So they made a lot of changes to these subclasses on how things work. So Paladin swear the Devotion uh feature with the Sacred Weapon and the Holy Nimbus now lasts for 10 minutes instead of just the 1 minute. And in addition to its longer duration, Holy Nimbus can also be used again by spending a level 5 spell slot rather than just being used once per long rest. So that's pretty cool. You could keep it going
Mhm.
by just sacrificing a spell slot of level 5. And there is also a new feature that replaces Purity of Spirit in the form of Smite of Protection, which grants cover to you and your allies with your aura when you cast Divine Smite. And finally,
Oh,
pretty
I like
sweet.
that. I like
And
that.
Oath of Devotion Paladins get a tweak spells in the form of Shield of Faith and Aid, replacing Sanctuary and Lesser Restoration.
I like that.
Pretty neat.
That makes you want to play Devotion Paladin because that's freaking awesome.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the age spell, but that has changed. And last we saw anyway in the new version where it was no longer it was temp HP and not extra HP that you get in your main
Mm.
HP. It's very weird. Yeah. I like that. Smite of Protection seems hilarious.
You bonk a dude with your sap longsword, and you get protection to everybody.
Yeah. The light just emanates and just forms a nice holy blanket over everybody.
And then Oath of Glory, they they improved the aura of alacrity. I was going to move my screen instead of looking off to the side. So now previously it had a 5-foot radius, and now it uses your aura protection to determine who's affected, and this uses let's see, then this uses the aura protection is something else you can recur throughout the 2024 Paladin as subclasses, meaning better synergies between your classes. And Oath of Glory Paladins can also enjoy 1 hour duration of
Oh, cool.
Peerless Athlete to access a brand new oath spells called Yolanda's Regal's Presence.
Sounds
Uh,
cool.
I'm sad they don't have a little tooltip to let you know what Yolanda's Regal's Presence does, but
It's weird that they have tooltips for those spells, but if I hovered over it, it would be the old spells.
yeah, it's the old
So
spells.
so someone took the
Um,
time to make sure they were tooltips on the blog, but they go to the old spell, which is not what the new spells look like, because I know for a fact the 8 is different.
and then I think they're changing auras. Are they calling it eminence now? That's the new term for auras, like auras that emanate from the caster.
Hmm.
Um, in the video, Jeremy Crawford talks about before an ally would have to be stopped their turn in the aura to get its benefits. but now all they have to do is go through it, and the effects are
Ah,
immediate, which is super super awesome.
just a little flyby.
Hmm.
High five your paladin on the way out.
Yeah, so if you're a glory paladin who has their aura up that of alacrity, then you get the speed boosties.
Cool.
Um, I think, man, I wish this change happened when we did season 1, but, some awesome changes. The Oath of the Ancient. One of the biggest upgrades is to Undying Sentinel, where in 2014, the Oath would simply go to 1 hit point instead of 0. And then 2024 version, you instantly regain a number of hit points equal to 3 times your paladin level. So
Oh,
now you get some meaty hit points instead of just being at 1 hit point.
yeah, that
Bad.
seems so much better because like if you're fighting an enemy and you're like, oh, I pop back up to 1. All I gotta do is just kind of hit you again, and you're down. Like,
Or you're like, well, I guess I'm laying on hands and my turn's done.
mhm.
Yeah. Now you get a chunk of hit points and you can lay on hands as a bonus action. So you still get an action and movement to do stuff.
Mhm.
Um Nature's Wrath also now affects each creature of your choice within 15 feet. Because previously I think it was just a single target.
Mhm.
And your target makes a strength saving throw instead of having to choose between strength or dex. So now
Cool.
they can only do strength, which is great. I like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
More varied
Elder
saving throws.
Mhm, mhm. Don't leave it up to the defender to choose.
Yeah.
My stuff. Elder Champion has also seen some love, but now requiring a bonus action instead of an action, which is super awesome. And you can also refresh Elder Champion by sacrificing a level 5 spell slot. Pretty
Sick.
good. Pretty good. Oath of Vengeance. This is probably a lot of people's favorites. Paladin
Yeah.
class.
I like it.
Uh, Oath of Vengeance receives an action economy boost to Vow of Enmity, no longer requiring an action. Instead, can be applied when you attack. So when you hit,
Yes.
you can apply Vow of Enmity, uh, and no longer requires action because it seems silly if you did a vow required an action and then you couldn't do anything that turn, which
It
seems
used
silly.
to be Vow of Enmity used to be a bonus action. And it used your channel divinity, and then you had advantage on attack rolls against them. So what this means now is you can do your Vow of Enmity, and you can attack, and you can still smite them all at once too. So it's not a bonus action.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just back to,
just do it.
yeah. And the best thing is the next part. But go ahead.
All right, and it also has an increased range and can be transferred when the current target of your vow is reduced to 0 hit points.
Yeah, like
Badass.
Hex or Hunter's Mark, like all that stuff.
Mm, yeah.
Since yeah, I like that.
And then Relentless Avenger and Avenging Angel had some boosties, with the former reducing the target speed to 0 and the latter being able to refresh it by stacking a level 5 spell or refreshing it with a level 5 spell.
Hmm.
Slot. There we go.
I do like Vengeance Paladins. Level 5, gentlemen. Or you want anything else you want to point out?
I think all the changes are nice so far.
Yeah.
Seemed like the new paladins would be even more fun to play,
Oh yeah.
which is always a
Level.
good thing.
What paladin was Cord?
Oh
What was
God,
the subclass?
Cord.
It's
Or
core.
or
That is a fantastic
I'll
question.
tell you.
You
I'll
can
tell
tell me.
you. Oath of
Oh,
Conquest.
yeah, Oath of Conquest. Yep.
Hmm.
I had to bring up his character sheet.
It's funny. Cord. That's what the NPCs called him that didn't like him.
Yeah.
Level 5, Faithful Steed. Paladins now always have a Faithful Steed on hand with the Find Seed spell always prepared from level 5 onwards. Sick.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
It also gives you a single free casting once per day, so you can summon your BFF steed. And the Find Steed spell has its own stat block which is really cool. They're calling it the otherworldly steed. So now it's not just pick one of these animals, right, for your steed or whatnot. Now it's actually its own specific thing. So I'm guessing it's going to see a boost in combat and some other utility type stuff, maybe. Yeah, and it can regain hit points when you receive magical healing, which is cool. So you have like this sort of
like a
bonded
link
relationship.
Link HPs.
Yeah, it does say. Oh, go ahead.
I'm very happy. It's permanently prepared and it doesn't use a spell slot for the first time you use it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
And
like
the stats for your steed will be in the Paladin page, so you don't have to flip through the back of the book or whatever.
Yeah.
It's going to be right there, right in the Paladin section.
They've talked a little bit on the player's handbook video. They did the first one where like the class's spells are going to be next to the section, like the specific, monsters that you need for like find familiar or like wild shape. They're going to be in the PHB easily to find for you, so you don't have to go buying your own like monster manual if you don't have to. There'll be other stuff, but
that's nice.
Oh, did the internet go down or something?
No, not us. We're talking about our Flag Beats death got canceled, so sad.
Oh, okay. Because I saw a rip show and I was like, did my internet go down? What?
No, we're good.
No. Okay, now I see what DB said. Yeah, you summoned Steed bot. I need to finish that show, but now I'm sad because it's gonna be over when I finish it.
It's so good.
Anyway, yeah, I got can't say rip show during stream moves.
My bad.
You should know better. So yeah, best friend horse coming at you. New fine steed. Level 9 VS.
All right. Abjure Foes, level 9. This new Paladin feature allows you to spend your channel divinity to target a number of creatures equal to your charisma modifier and force them to make a wisdom saving throw. Okay. On a failed save, a creature is frightened by you. And while frightened this way is limited. Hold on.
You got it, bud.
And while frightened this way is limited to only moving, taking an action, or a bonus action on their turn. It's a very powerful way to control the battlefield. So if your idea of a paladin features a control aspect, the 2024 one's got you covered.
That's very interesting because that used to be a feature of the Oath of Vengeance paladin, specifically, almost word for word.
Now all paladins get it.
Yeah. Now you can make them scared of you.
I think it makes sense. I mean, paladins, typically you picture like this shining warrior on the battlefield that commands a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm. It's cool.
Yeah.
I like more options for all classes to have, so I'm not mad about it.
All right.
I'm curious why in the breakdown, the detailed breakdown, they don't mention channel divinity. Because now you can use them. You get 2 channel divinities now, and you can regain one on a short rest, and you regain both charges at a long rest.
Oh. Well, I thought you always got 2 channel divinities, if I'm not mistaken.
Always?
Wasn't it? You had 2 choices to use.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, you're right. You only had 1, and it was a shorter or long to get it back. But now you're saying you get 2, and then you can restore
a third
1
at 11.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm down with that. My mistake. Dropping the knowledge. I'll do restoring touch, level 14, a brand new feature. We'd love to see it. They give you an alternate use for your lay on hands. Cool. You can remove 1 condition from a list of options and can even do this for multiple conditions if you spend enough hit points. I don't know what the conditions were, if they talked about it in the video or not. I don't remember, but I'm guessing, is it like other, like paralyzed, or is it like stuff like those kind of conditions?
I wonder if exhaustion would count.
That'd be cool.
I would think so because they seem like they're gonna go all in on conditions in the previous reading. That's what it seemed like they were doing. Because I think the 2014 Paladin, this was called Cleansing Touch, and you
Yeah.
can remove a spell effect from yourself or an ally or target. So, and I guess a spell condition is basically giving you a condition or like paralyzed, whatever, wherever it may be. I wonder if that would work for petrification as well.
Interesting. There's other stuff that I'm wondering if like blinded or deafened or like stuff like that, if that would count as well. I have to see the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says a list of options, so probably not all of them, but
Mm-hmm.
hopefully a good chunk.
Yeah. Yeah. Last one. Epic boon.
Epic boon level 19. Let's see. So previously awarded in 2014 Dungeon Master Guide, epic boons have made their way to 2024 Player's Handbook. And a new type of feat with the prerequisite of being level 19 or higher. So level 19 plus gets access to epic boons. While paladins could take any epic boon, the recommended pick is the boon of true sight.
Hmm.
And then they go into detail. Increase one of your ability scores by 1 up to a maximum of 30, and you gain true sight out of a radius of 60 feet.
Ooh.
That'd be really handy for y'all about right now, wouldn't it? Into
Would
the
it?
campaign, but anyway.
Yes, that would be handy.
There's something
That's
specific about that that you know about already.
yeah. I wish. Can we be level 19 now?
Oh yeah, sure. Why not? Sure, why not?
Awesome, fantastic.
We'll just fast forward this whole
Uh,
campaign.
I mean that feels pretty epic to me. Your stats will go beyond the limitations of 20. Now maximum is 30, and you get like true sight, like you're like a cool dragon or something with a 60-foot radius.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't remember what level you are right now. Is it like 8 or 9?
We just leveled up. I believe we're 9 or 8.
One of those two. I don't remember. I have it written down. I haven't looked at it.
We are 8 because we had ASI.
Oh yeah, you are right. So yeah, that's the new Paladin TLDR. Oh, I kind of want to go later on to like the comment section or to Reddit and hear the cries of Paladin mains throughout the internet.
What do you mean bonus action? I think a lot of people are on board with it. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it so far. I want to get the book in my hands so I can look through it, because at this stage, realistically, we know what the last like UA we got was, but they have specifically said in these videos that that not all things are the same as the last UA. They've done some other like refactoring of some of these rules and classes and stuff.
First comment is Smite is bad now. Slanty face. So
Oh man.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, I don't know about that. People are I thought that they were going to get ranged smite. I think that was in a UA, but I'm wondering if they pulled that, because I'm wondering if they're cooking that for a special subclass later on.
Oh yeah, possibly.
Which that seems interesting.
If there's an archer smiting paladin, that sounds awesome to me. I would love to play that.
They probably
Archer.
mentioned it, but this was before these changes to smite, so we're probably like, well, it might be a bit strong with the current smite.
Yeah, and we're really speculating based on what we read last on all these changes. Is the information it gives you like some heads up, but it doesn't have the official rules for everything just yet. But yeah, I'm not talking about even archer. I'm like, give me a javelin or some hand axes and let me smite those. with those.
I'm gonna relive my Diablo 2 days and just throw hammers.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Hammered in.
I just imagine like a lightning infused javelin where as soon as it connects, there's like a flash of lightning or something that just chars them.
Mm-hmm. Put a little returning weapon on that, and there you go.
Oh yeah. I would love to see a spell list because I wonder what that since Smite is now a spell. What does
Mm-hmm.
that mean for the spell smites like branding smite and
They're still
thundering smite?
there. We covered some of them. There are a ton of them, and even like what Zeus was saying in the chat, there's a whole bunch of other smite spells that are kind of, I don't want to say they're like on the same playing field exactly, but you've got more comparable options of
Mm.
like, do I want to do like a divine smite, or like you were saying, maybe a branding smite's better. Maybe I sacrifice a little bit of damage here to do some like a kicker on top of it, that kind of thing. So that seems more interesting to me. Whereas previously you'd say, I do branding smite, and then I hit, oh yeah, and then I normal smite on top of that. Because I can.
Oh well, again, in the video, if you watch the video, Jeremy says you get one free smite. Doesn't use your spell slot. That's
Per
pretty good.
what?
Per long rest, I believe.
Oh, I can get behind that. First one's free.
Yeah, first one's free, and you still have access to. You could do more spell stuff if you wanted to. Since I think paladins will have more access to spells now, since they're not blowing through
Yeah.
all their spells in
I
one turn.
I like that as a trend of like a special thing that happens to be a spell, but like first one's free, just so you don't, you can use it and still have your spell slots that are limited to like a half caster. In this case.
It sounds like they're really wanting Paladin to go to its toolkit more rather than just relying on Divine Smite. Because they're like, oh,
Yeah.
you can refresh this thing, it's going to take a spell slot. That thing's pretty good. You might want to have it. So it's like giving them more uses for their spell slots, and so they're
Mhm.
not just always casting Smite.
Yeah, they're not a smite machine.
Yeah. Of course, I think hardcore Paladin players are probably like, no, I only
Yeah.
want to Smite.
And with, I'll reiterate DV's sentiments of, I like that it can be counterspelled now, which makes sense. I know that there were changes to counterspell that I don't even remember what the final version. We won't know what the final version looks like, but I remember that there were counterspell changes in the UA we're reading. So I'm interested to see what that looks like. So yeah,
Same.
I mean, I think this is the thickest player's handbook they've ever made. So it's going to be a nice thick boy on my shelf whenever it comes in. I'm excited.
I'm excited to see the changes of the
too.
other classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did they do? The fighter, they did a video for the fighter, barbarian and rogue. So there's 3 more
rogue.
classes we haven't discussed about. And then
And
there's also
weapon
a solo
mastery.
video about weapon mastery. Yep.
I am excited for barbarian. I would probably play a barbarian more readily now with some of these changes. This is a
Can't
little
wait
sneak preview because
to see that.
yeah, because lots more outside of combat stuff, but we can save that for the barbarian talk. So if you want to come back and hang out with us on Mondays and talk about the updates to the 2024, and let us know in the comments, in the chat, in our Discord, like which one do you want us to cover next? There's weapon mastery, there's barbarians, rogues, fighters. There might be some new ones by the time our next Monday rolls around. Yeah, let us know what you want us to talk about next, and we'll take a look. So with that being said, thanks for hanging out with us. I am excited about Paladin. I think these changes are good and fair from what I've seen so far, and I think you guys do too from what we'd heard. I don't want to speak for you, but thumbs up or thumbs down? Yay or nay?
Yay for sure right now. Paladins, very good.
Yep. We're good. We'll be good.
They were always good, but now they're awesome.
Yeah.
I know one person that's gonna say nay.
We'll see. I'm curious what Village has to say with the new changes.
Yeah. But yeah, come hang out with us next Monday for sure, and also Friday is going to be the latest episode of our campaign 2. And if you missed the week before last, because I was sick last week before last episode, they definitely ended on they're in a pickle, is what I'll say. They're in quite a conundrum. So I'm interested to see what happens when they come back, but don't want to miss it. Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Come hang out with us, and then we'll see you then. Bye-bye, friends.
Everybody.
Bye.